PNC Park is in its 24th year of existence, and I don't know that I can recall the fans booing as loudly and as frequently as they have of late. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Giants 7, Pirates 6. Another grand slam got wasted. This one by Joey Bart. Another great young pitching prospect's quality start got wasted. This time it was Paul Skeens. 1 run over 6 innings, didn't matter. Another Andrew McCutchen home run got wasted. Another Brian Reynolds home run got wasted. All because the team's management continues to do really dumb things. I don't say that in a mean way. Never had an unpleasant experience, not once, with either Ben Cherington or Derek Shelton. There's no personal this or that or whatever. These are dumb decisions that are being made. Just plain old dumb decisions. At the general manager level, at the field manager level. And at this point, I don't even waste my own time or energy trying to figure out which one is which. Who really writes up the lineup card, or who should be pushing who to make this move or that move. I don't care anymore. They've both been here now since late 2019. This is their 5th year. They might as well be the same, like the same blob, the same entity. It doesn't matter to me anymore. Does it matter to the fans? I mean, I always think that it does. I see the excitement that gets generated when Skeens comes up. And even before that, when Jared Jones was pitching and there was a nice 9-2 start. And, even over this past weekend when they took 3 or 4 from the Cubs. But there's a really ugly undercurrent here. And I'm talking about among the fans. I'm not new to this. I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh. I've been following the Pirates since I was 6 years old. And I mean following closely. Between that and having attended a million games at Three Rivers Stadium and now PNC Park, and now having covered the team, this is my 20th year of doing that, I'd like to think I have something of a sense for how the public feels about the Pirates at any given point. And they are right now really either angry or disillusioned, or they've tuned out. I hear from all three. And if you were at the stadium yesterday, you'd have heard, in a way, from all three. The angry was easy. It wasn't just Rowdy Tellez getting booed, although he got some of the loudest boos for someone wearing that uniform that have ever taken place on the North Shore. This was before he even batted, never mind striking out looking at a dead red fastball with bases loaded and 1 out. He'd go 0 for 4 with 2 Ks, and I don't even get me started on that subject, because the whole episode will derail. But the boos didn't stop there. The boos came just as hot and heavy, I thought, for Derek Shelton. Every time he came out of that dugout, every time he went to make one of those patented bullpen moves that comes right after all the damage has been done, when everyone else in the place could plainly see that this reliever wasn't going to have anything to contribute, there it came, raining down, boo! And I'm looking at some of the fans behind the Pirates dugout, the ones who are the closest, and you can see how demonstrative they are, even from way up in the press box. Their hands, and they're taking off their cap and waving it in that direction. Angry. Also heard from disillusioned. Since DK Pittsburgh Sports has a headquarters/shop downtown, we hear from a lot of the people who come into town and stay in our hotels, make trips. They wanted to see Jones one night, Skeens the next. Instead, saw all of this catastrophic baseball activity. They wanted to be excited. Some of them flew into town, long distances. One that I met with yesterday from Texas. They don't know what to think. They thought that it was a green light. It's okay now to get interested in the Pirates, and they show up, but they're still the Pirates. And then, not to be forgotten, and these are the most dangerous ones, are those who legitimately lose interest or even just legitimately say to themselves, I'm not investing in this anymore. I'm not investing in these people and their bizarre decisions, whether those decisions are personnel or tactical or whatever, because it's pretty clear to me that they don't care, that everybody all the way up to Bob Nutting, that he doesn't care because he's not taking any action. Why should I? And how do they have their voices heard at the ballpark? Well, they of course don't. But on a day that Skeens pitched, the first start after he caught the attention of the entire baseball and really the North American sporting world with that performance in Chicago against the Cubs, striking out the first 7 hitters and everything else, just looking like a rising baseball god, and maybe not even overstating it. The attendance was 23,000. A normal Thursday afternoon in Pittsburgh will get you about 14 or 15. So how many extra tickets did he sell? How many people said, man, I want to go just to see this guy? Probably about 8,000. And that leaves about 17,000 empty blue seats there. And as anyone in any walk of life in professional sports will attest, that's always the one that worries you the most. Not just for, immediate cash count, but for longer term losing of people who love the team. This is not good, okay? And this relationship, dare I say, is beginning to look increasingly irreparable. The next person in this city that I hear say anything good about Charrington or his recent acquisitions or, just leaving Tellez lying around will be the first. The next Pittsburgher that I've heard over the last 5 years say anything good about Shelton, whether it's fair or not. I'm not sitting here judging how they feel. But the next one that I hear will say, yeah, I really like this Shelton guy. I think he's going to be part of the future here. When the team gets good, he's really going to rise up. Zero. That can't go on. It just can't. When we come back, J1Q. This portion of Daily Shot of Pirates is brought to you by our friends at North Shore Tavern. That's directly across Federal Street from PNC Park. It's home of Steak on a Stone, an eating experience, underscoring the word experience. The steak is brought to you partially cooked on an 800-degree stone, and you do the rest. It's a ton of fun, it's a great meal, and it's a baseball atmosphere like no other in Pittsburgh. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park. Today's J1Q, and it's so good, comes from Jim, who says, DK, do you believe the reason that the Pirates can't have competent individuals as GM/manager/coaches is because the die is cast in this organization is considered a professional poison? I understand that there's only so many jobs argument, but if this job ends your career, do legit talents steer clear? Yes, this gets asked a lot, Jim, in different forms, not as strongly as you worded it. And I invariably, as I seem to sense that you figured out, answer it the same way, which is there's only 30 of these jobs on the planet. So you can only be so picky no matter who you are. If you think back to late 2019, when Bob Nutting did the right thing and got rid of everybody, I mean, it was a nearly complete cleaning of the house. And he started to search first for a team president, and then together with Travis Williams for a general manager, and then in concert with all of them for the field manager. The applicants who were part of the process, and I'm going to get more specific here with the GM than anything, because the GM affects just everything, probably more than any of these positions. The field was okay. There were some legitimately bright lights from around baseball who applied. And if you'll recall, the other finalist, kind of going head-to-head with Ben Cherington, was Matt Arnold, who's now the GM of the Brewers. In fact, he became the GM of the Brewers less than a year later, promoted. He'd been an assistant GM in Milwaukee, and he has had significantly more success than Cherington has had here. A little bit of a different circumstance, but not that much. Remember, the Brewers are based in a city that is 2/3 the size of Pittsburgh, meaning Milwaukee. And that applies no matter how you cut that up. I've had people quibble with me on that over the years. Milwaukee is, by every definition, a small market. The Brewers still outspend the Pirates, of course, but the Brewers also do a lot of really smart things. And one of those is that they prioritize winning. When they needed a first baseman over the offseason, they went out and spent $34 million over 2 years on Rhys Hoskins. When the Pirates needed a first baseman, they went rushing after the one that the Brewers left out by the curb. So, to swing back to your question here, is it a matter of the Pirates not getting people to come and apply? Well, no, obviously. You can do this with the previous searches as well. It's instead that the wrong choices get made, and for the wrong reasons. I wrote back at the time that Cherington and Arnold were going head-to-head that I favored Arnold, and emphatically so. I did that in large part because he was coming from a winning atmosphere in Milwaukee. I did it even more so because of his baseball acumen. Yeah, he has the advanced analytics and everything else, but he also has what people even then were saying is, a good eye for talent. You want to hear something amazing? And it actually applies directly to this. We all complain about Nutting's payroll and where he keeps payroll, and rightly so. There's a reason I criticize him for it. There's a reason everybody criticizes him for it. But if you go back over this past winter, Cherington spent a combined $31 million as follows. You ready? $3.2 million on Rowdy Tellez, $2.5 million on Yasmani Grandal, $10.5 million on Aroldis Chapman, $4 million on Michael A. Taylor, $8 million on Martin Perez, and $2.5 million on Marco Gonzalez. Now, without going through each one of these individually, that's not good, okay? That's not a good use of the funds that you do have appropriated to you. Sure, most GMs have more than $30 million to work with in a given offseason. But I didn't see the Pirates as being a team that needed a ton of anything. I did want to see more starting pitching. I definitely wanted to see a first baseman. But I didn't need to see a $10.5 million setup man in the bullpen. I didn't need to see $4 million spent on a glove-only center fielder. These are massive mistakes, and they're not mistakes that get talked about as commonly as the ones that the field manager makes, and that's because, and I say this all the time, he's the one you see on TV. He's where the camera goes after something, plays out incorrectly in the field or someone bobbles, and you see him and you go, that guy, I don't like that guy. But there's plenty of room here for blame for both the GM and the field manager, and, by the way, the guy who started this whole hiring process and picked the wrong person to run baseball ops. I appreciate this question. I appreciate everybody who listens to Daily Shot of Pirates. We will be back with another one of these on Monday when I'll be heading up to Detroit to cover the quick 2-game series against the Tigers. Thank you so much for listening.